What's going on, civilian Jeeps? This is Jake here, and today we're going to be going over the Morrflate Morrflate system. And I've got the quad system behind me, which connects all four tires and airs up all four tires simultaneously. And what's going to be the air compressor that's going to be running this system is also the Morrflate. This is the Morrflate 10.6 in this carry pouch right here, and this is the Morrflate Quad Plus in this carry pouch here. Now what we are going to be doing with this system is this CJ7 is on 35 by 1250 15s, and my LJ Rubicon is on 37 1250 by 17, and we're going to be inflating and deflating the tires and comparing the times between the two. But let me tell you right now, I've used this thing for a few weeks now, off and on, and it's amazing. It saves so much time compared to just going to each tire individually and airing it up. I had the old Vi-Air system, and this thing knocks it out of the park. It's way more CFM than that system, and without me rambling on, let's just go ahead and look at the product and see what you get right out of the box. Alright guys, so this is the main Morrflate box. It's got their cool little logo on it, and your compressor is going to be in the box. And right now it's in the carrying case, but the compressor is inside here. This thing is quality. It weighs a decent amount, not anything terrible that you can't manage, but you can tell this thing is quality. It comes with a cool little koozie that's magnetic. Here's just some basic information, warranty stuff on here, and on the other side some notes about the product. Here is the gloves. They're going to send you gloves no matter. So if you're at the checkout process and it's asking for your glove size, it will not let you complete the checkout process until you put your glove size in, which is really cool. This Morrflate back here is the actual hose that's going to connect all the tires. Now this is the 155-inch version. They have a 120-inch version and a 150-inch version, and then the 200-inch version. Now I could have got by with the 120 on these Jeeps, but I also want to use this system on my Dodge because it's very versatile, my Cummins, and it needed the 155-inch system. So I opted for the middle of the road. Now let's take everything out of the boxes and let's see exactly what all this looks like. So let's start with the TenSix here. This compressor has a 10.6 CFM dual cylinder compressor at 0 PSI, 6.5 CFM at 30 PSI. It's 150 PSI rated. It's a 50% duty cycle, 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off. It's 12 volt, which means that you can't use this on your 24 volt military rig or 6 volt wheelies. It's 14 by 7 by 9 inch external dimensions, and it's really not bad as far as heft wise. Like, I can pick it up one-handed, no problems. This thing does feel quality, but it's not anything like overbearing as far as weight goes. There's a carrying case with it, threaded filter caps. It's a 6-foot hose on the compressor, which is that hose right there. And then it has 6-foot lead to the battery. As you'll notice, this doesn't have a 12 volt plug-in. You have to connect this thing right to your battery. I predict that it probably has to do with the high CFM this compressor is running. But me personally, I'd much rather that, because I can go and use this on the wheelies, and, well, not the wheelies, the CJ7 here. I can use it on my CJ7 and I can use it on my LJ just by hooking it up to the battery. The CJ7 here does not have a 12 volt inside of it, so it's kind of nice that it uses the battery clamps, because I don't have to worry about putting the 12 volt inside of the CJ7. So with this compressor, they recommend using the Morrflate quad right here. They recommend using the Morrflate quad system, and I've got the digital gauge on it. Now with this 10.5 CFM on the compressor, it's going to be dividing that by 4, sending it to all 4 tires. Now if you'll look, this really cool neon green color hose is going to go to all 4 tires, and it equalizes the pressures out, which means that it equalizes all of the tires to be the exact same pressure. Now I read somewhere that you can say you got low tire and for some reason you don't have your compressor with you, you can actually hook the tire up to the spare tire and take air out of the spare and equalize the pressure in the tire that needs pressure in it by using the air in your spare tire. So, I mean, not that you may not do that, I don't know, it depends on the circumstance, but I think it's cool that you have that option. So let me go over some of the features of the Quad 4. Kind of like I stated, it says that it airs down 1 to 4 tires simultaneously. You can check all your tires' PSI from the manifold, move air from spare tire into other tires, effortlessly equalize tire pressures, which means, you know, if one tire is 13 and the other is 15, it's going to equalize all 4 tires that have matching pressures. Run different PSI in the front tires than the back, depends on how you hook this hose up. This version fits up to 155-inch wheelbase, which I stated before. If you need a shorter wheelbase, be sure to check out on the internet the different options that they have. Like I said, they have a 155, a shorter one which is a 120, and then a longer one which is a 200. Now, the moment you guys actually been waiting for, let me hook this up and show you exactly how to use it. So one really cool thing about this Morrflate system is that it has quick connect and disconnects. These are triple tooth threaded, so it saves the threads on your valve stem. A lot of competitors are 1 to 2 threads, and this one's triple threaded. So whenever you get it on, you'll hear the pressure start coming out of the tire. Make sure you give it a good shove up on the stem and then lock the collar. Just like that, it's that easy. So now that I've got this one on, let's go put all the other 4 on so we can get this started. Okay, now we have all 4 tires hooked up, and I'm gonna demonstrate the air down method. As you can see, I've got my Jeep, all 4 tires are equalized at 24.6, and I've got my stopwatch behind it. And to be able to deflate the tires, just slide this collar up and it'll start letting out pressure. Occasionally slide the collar down, wait 5 seconds for it to equalize out, and then check your pressure. We're going to be going down to 12 because these are not beadlocks on the CJ7. Now I'm going to go down a lot lower on my LJ over here because these are beadlocks. That's why I want to do this comparison. But anyway, let's get this started. Let's go ahead and hit the start button and slide up on the collar. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. And there it goes, it's letting out the pressure. So let's see exactly how long this takes to get down to 12. Slide the collar down, look real quick, we're at 19.4. And we're setting around 12 and a half. I guess I could let out a little bit more real quick. Anyway, 12.1 now. I could do this a little quicker if I wasn't trying to hold the camera as well as do this testing, but as you can see here, around 2 minutes and 45 seconds is how long it takes to deflate. Now, some of you are probably going to ask, you know, Jacob, yeah, they have quick inflate and deflation kits. Why don't you just buy one of them? They screw right on your valve stem. Well, yes, they do. They're right here. I've got one. Boulder Tools. I don't like it. When you get, okay, I should rephrase that. When you're on this Jeep here, these tire inflation deflation kits, as long as you stay above 10, it's really not terrible. It does take more time than 3 minutes though, because these things take a while. And you got to listen to that annoying humming noise and all that. On this, where you're going to go down less than 10 on these wheels, these things kind of suck. Like, I can't ever just get the pressures right. At least on this, I know exactly all my pressures are correct. So yes, this is an option, but it's not the best option. Now, a lot of you are going to be saying, you know, what about just a normal gauge, like a non-digital gauge? Well, you know, this one right here is also Boulder Tools, and it goes up to 80. And honestly, like the lower and the higher ends kind of get a little wonky. What I mean by that is if you're below 10 PSI on this, the gauge kind of sucks. The digital gauge is the way to go. It'll monitor all the way down to your low PSI ranges and be pretty accurate within them. So as you can see, it's fluctuated just a hair from when I let it out, but not bad at all for the amount of time that it took. It's equalizing all the tire pressures, and as you can see, it's 12 and a half. So now let's try the inflation. All right, so let's go ahead and try the compressor side. We're going from 12 and a half up to 25, so we're doubling the pressure in all 4 tires. I've got the compressor connected to the battery. Disregard all the wiring. There's a method to the madness under there, but if you want to know all that, that's another video. So anyway, here's the compressor. Go ahead and turn it on. This compressor's not been used, so it's cold right now, but if it was hot, put your gloves on. It's gonna build up, and then it's gonna stop. It's gonna stop because this collar right here, just like deflation, pull the collar up and it'll start inflating. Now I've got the time set, and here we go. Go ahead and hit start on the top stopwatch, and go up. there you have it. The gauge is reading 25.2. It took about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I started the stopwatch before I actually started the compressor, and then I stopped the compressor before I stopped the stopwatch. So, but all in all, it's still a really quick time. Less than 5 minutes to air up all 35-inch tires from 12 to 25. So now, that was the test on the CJ7. Let's switch it over to a beadlock rig and try it on in. Okay, so it's all hooked up to the LJ, as you can see, and we're gonna go from basically 24 down to 8, because I like to run 8 in my beadlocks. So let's go ahead and get this started. Setting at 24.3 right now. Start. So we're at 8.2 right now. I'll call that good enough, and about 4 minutes. So overall, that's pretty impressive. Let's go over here. See, the tires are squatting a little bit. Not anything too bad, but that's the pressure I like to run. So let's get the compressor hooked back up and let's go back up to 24. The LJ's all hooked up with the battery and the compressor. So we'll go over here. I've got it hooked into my T-block. It's currently in the down position. Just slide it up when we're ready. Go up here, we're setting at 8.2. Go ahead and hit start. Slide it up. Compressor is turned on. And let's go to 24. Well, I went a little over there. I'm at 24 and a half. That's perfectly fine. I typically run 24 to 25 in these tires. I know some of you people out there that have JKs are probably like, bro, man, I run like 36, 38. Like, yeah, no, I don't run that much pressure in my tires. So I keep them around 24 to 28, somewhere around in there. I personally like 24. I like them to be a little softer on the road. But anyway, that is pretty impressive. That's a 37-inch tire that we just went from 8 PSI all the way up to 24, a little over 24 in under 5 minutes. Like, that right there is why I chose to go with the Morrflate system. So my overall impressions of the system, I'm extremely impressed. Morrflate is definitely the way to go if you don't want to break your back and bend over all the time. Each individual tire, and you know, before that bi-air system I had, I think it was around 2 CFM. In comparison, ARB is around 5.6 to 6, somewhere around in there, CFM, and this one's 10.6, so it's so much quicker to air up your tires. And one tire used to take 5 minutes with the bi-air, so this is the way to go. And if you are curious, I do have an ARB single in the LJ up there, and it don't even work. It quit working. I can't keep the dang thing to work. Like, it's the most frustrating thing. So anyway, overall impressions, quality control seems to be spot on. I really enjoy the Morrflate product. Okay, CO2 tank. CO2 tank would be quicker to air up your tire per tire, and I might even do a review of one of those here in the coming up future. But CO2 costs money. This is free. It might be, you know, just a hair quicker doing CO2, but this is free, so make sure you remember that. You know, pros of this system, like I've stated in the video, there's a lot of pros. You know, 4-way easy. Overall, this system's really easy. Cons, there's really not a whole lot other than it does take time to roll up this hose. You might have 3 minutes of rolling your hose back up, making it look neat, fitting it back in the bag. Another con, I guess would be, oh, the bag that I got the compressor in. I mean, it's an okay bag. Let's check it out real quick. So the bag, it does its job. It works fine. It's just the issue that I have with it is there's a little snag right there in the zipper, and it's kind of hard. Let's see if I can get out here in the sunlight. See that snag? It's kind of hard for the zipper, but that's something that could have happened with anything really. So, I mean, the bag, I'd have probably put a little better zipper on it, but that's the only con I have to this system. Overall, I'm pretty impressed. All right, so that's a wrap of the Morrflate system here. If you'd like to know anything else about it, please leave me a comment below. I guess one thing you do need to know is the price. The Morrflate compressor, the TenSix, is around $230, but I mean, that's a pretty big compressor for the amount of money that you're paying. It might be a little bit more expensive than the Vi-Air, cheaper than the ARB, but I would definitely check out the TenSix compressor from Morrflate. Now the 4-way split, the Quad Plus, it's around $200, and if you want the digital gauge, it's around $225. So I highly recommend it though. So overall, if you package them together, you're looking at, you know, a little over 400 bucks, $235 and $225. You're still under $500 for a great system. So if you're looking for something in that department, make sure you check them out. Now, that's pretty much where I'm gonna wrap up here. If you have any questions for me, drop it below, and you know, when it comes to Jeeps, keep it classic.